Welcome everybody, this is the self-elected ape of the year, and today I'm going to show you how to take off in the bf109 K4. So some people might have some problems with this machine, and this is why I'm going to do this little tutorial here. And I'm going to do it pretty quickly and just go over the most important stuff that you need to know. And if you want to have a look at something more specific and more detailed, I'm going to put a link into the description where another YouTuber who has a very good and detailed video about really all the details and all the backgrounds and everything. So first of all, we are going to push all these buttons here to the right. This is going to enable all the electronic stuff about the plane. Now we are going to disable the third one from the left lane here, just because I don't want these lights on. So when the electronics are enabled, we are going to set the fuel pumps to 1+2. So both fuel pumps are going to be working now. We are going to set the magnetos to the position 1+2 also. Now we are going to enable the prop pitch automatic, and we are going to pump some fuel. 4 to 5 times should be enough, but you see right here on this little indicator, you see this little needle going up, and you want it somewhere about here if you want to do it perfectly. Now we could change the coolers right here, but we don't really need to. Another thing that we sometimes have to do is set up the radio correctly, because sometimes it just doesn't work properly. This seems to be some kind of a bug, and most of the time it's not necessary to change anything here, but just so you know that sometimes it just doesn't work. Because right now we need to enter the radio commands button, a radio command, whatever the English word is, and we are going to press the hashtag button right next to the enter key on the keyboard, and by clicking this button we enter this little menu here. Now we can press F8, and now we can press F4, and this is going to tell the ground crew to get the inertia wheel rolling. So somebody would now be standing here on the wing and activate or roll the inertia wheel by muscle strength. And yeah, as soon as this is going to be ready, we are going to be able to pull this left red little handle, and the machine is going to start. We are going to go on the brakes, set the throttle to the right position right here. And the plane is starting. So this is basically everything about the startup. Another thing on your checklist should be to press the main weapon switch right here. This is going to enable all the guns, and then you need to remove the safety. In this current version of the K4 we don't have any wing cannons. Should we get wing cannons, you are going to enable them right here. And right here you enable and disable the 108 cannon, the big 30mm cannon in the nose. So this is basically everything about the checklist that you want to go through to start the machine, and I'm going to just repeat it pretty quickly here. So enable all the electronics, if necessary set up the radio, enable the microphone and put it in the right frequency. Enable the fuel pumps, enable the magnetos, make sure that the prop pitch is on automatic, pump some fuel, and tell the ground crew to start the machine, to start the inertia wheel. Then pull the handle and make sure that your guns are enabled and you are off the safety. Now some additional stuff: you can remove this the gun sights right here. You can up flares right here if you want to. You can lock and unlock the tail wheel, and this is pretty much everything you really need to know. Right here you can also enable, should you have bombs on your on your 109, you can enable them right here. And this is basically everything you need to know. So the startup should be covered, and you should now understand how to start the machine manually. And now we are going to take over to the part that is really interesting and the real reason why I'm doing this tutorial, because many people have crazy problems to get the machine off the ground, and I had those problems too. A few days ago I did a live stream, and it was just terrible. I needed at least 10 tries before I got the machine off the ground, at least in a kind of acceptable fashion. And yeah, I'm going to taxi over to the runway, and as soon as we are there, we are going to continue with this video. So now we have arrived at the runway, and the first and very important tip is that you want to make sure that your tail wheel is facing in the right direction. So we are going to roll down the runway for a few meters, just like that. We are going to go on the brakes now. We are going to lock the tail wheel. When we are sure that it's facing in the right direction, we are locking the tail wheel like I did it before. Now we are going to do a little bit of a check. We are taking a look at the prop pitch. Is it in the right position? If this switch is flipped forward, this means that the automatic is disabled. We want to activate it, so flip it backwards. A very important thing that you should check before you are going to take off is the trim, or the vertical stabilizer. Right here you see this little number, and we are going to change the stabilizer to 0 right now for the takeoff, because we want to do everything ourselves. Maybe you disagree and you want to do it differently. You might change the stabilizer or the trim in a different way, but I like it the most if it's just on 0, so I can do everything myself, and I'm sure that the plane doesn't behave strangely. So, and now to the very, very important tip that I want to give you guys. Be very gentle on the throttle when trying to take off, and the other thing is, don't use the ailerons or the rudder or anything in order to compensate for the torque. Just use the brakes. And this is the best tip that I can give you. It's really making it 10 times easier if you just use the brakes in order to take off with this machine. And I'm going to show you what I do right now. I'm going on the brakes first. I'm throttling up gently, just like that, going off the brakes, and now I'm just using the right brake. I'm tapping it a little bit, see? And I'm throttling up even more. Now I'm using a little bit of right rudder, and I'm off the ground. I could have applied a little bit more of right rudder right there, just before taking off. But basically, if you just use the brakes, it's 10 times easier, and you should be able to take off pretty easily, and everybody should be able to do that. And if you use the rudder, it's all becoming a big pain, and it's going to be extremely difficult to take off. So just use this little trick. Make sure that you lock the tail wheel in the correct position. Don't throttle up too hard, too early, too fast, and use the brakes in order to stay straight. Now I'm going to show you how to land this machine. Oh, I nearly would have gotten rid of my canopy here. Right here you have the buttons for the gear. The gear is still out. You see this with the 2 green lights right here. So we're going to leave it like that. We are going to fly parallel to the runway. We're going to drop some speed. I'm just using the air brake right here. So I'm showing the side of my plane towards the flying direction, using getting some more air drag and slowing down fast. Now we are on 300 kilometers per hour. We are going to lower the flaps now, and the gear is out too. So we are ready to go on final. We are going to turn the machine around, making sure that we don't get too slow, and we want to touch down on the runway at around 200 kilometers per hour. So all is looking kind of okay, and I hope I'm going to be able to show you a good landing. So I'm throttling back down. I'm getting a little bit too fast, so I'm getting a little bit more air drag in here. The other speed drops pretty quickly. So, and now for the interesting part. You know that the undercarriage is very narrow, and the machine tends to twist in one direction, and I find it very useful to tap the right brake as soon as I touch down. I'm going to touch down as gently as possible. As soon as I touch down, I'm using a little bit of the right brake, and then the left one and the right, trying to not flip over to either side, and I'm directly... You know, this was absolutely on purpose that I immediately left the runway. This was no mistake or anything like that, because this would never happen to me. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and you are able to take off now with the bf109 K4 in DCS. So this was the self-elected ape of the year, signing off. And if you want a little bit more of a detailed video, link is in the description.